Manchester United face FC Porto in what is a tough game, and it could be Erik Ten Hag's final game in the job. In this video, we'll be talking about the importance of this game for Ten Hag, previewing the game, predicted team opposition, tactics, and much more. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So as I said, Manchester United will face Porto. It's kind of like a Champions League fixture, but obviously it's in the Europa League. A tough game away from home, and as I said, it could be a very tough job for Manchester United. We're going to be talking about, does Erik Ten Hag stop Bruno Fernandes? Does Manuel Ugarte come into the team? Kobbie Mainoo injury news and some other stuff as well. But let's get into it. So Porto, very good team, obviously in the Portuguese league. Got some very good players. And it can cause the issues for Manchester United, with Manchester United being so poor after that shocking defeat to Tottenham on the weekend. Any team can really beat us, and I don't think Porto are all that, to be fair. In terms of the league, I mean, United are 21st in the Europa League, if that makes sense. In terms of Porto, they won their last game 4-0. In terms of where they are in their league, they're second. 7 game plus 13 goal difference, so they do score goals. They've obviously got some very good players. And I think they can cause United a problem. I think, as I said, this is an important game for Ten Hag. You could see him start a bit more defensive, maybe play Ugarte and Casemiro in that midfield. I mean, Mainoo could be injured. Like, Erik Ten Hag's going to try and do everything to save his job. I remember a few times his job's been at jeopardy, and you do see a change in the way in which United play. Now, I think this game is going to be tough. They play a 4-2-3-1 system. They've got a very clinical number 9, very good defence. They don't ship many goals, to be honest with you. And it's going to be very tough, I think, for United to score. In their last 5 games, they've conceded 3 goals, in the last 5 games. Bearing in mind, in their last Europa League game, they did lose 3-2 to Bodo Glimt, I think that's what you say. Like, they did lose that game, and that was in the Europa League away from home. This time they're at home. They're facing Manchester United. I do think we can beat them, certainly. I think on our day, we do have chances and we can put them away, but that's on our day. There's been far too many times where United haven't been clinical enough. And ultimately, for me, it's going to be a very tough game. Out of their last 5 games, they've only lost 2. And conceded 4, Conceded 4 in the last 5 games is very sharp. And they did lose to top of the league in Sporting. So, listen, it ain't going to be an easy game. I think it's very tough. It's a huge game for Ten Hag, and he must get it right. He must go on and win this game. But if we do play anywhere near the way that we played against Spurs, we'll get battered maybe 4 or 5-0. And he could even get sacked after the game on Thursday, depending on how it goes. But listen, I want Ten Hag to succeed. I want him to get more trophies at United. Will he be given enough time? But he's got two games to save his job. He's got Porto and Aston Villa, 2 very tough games. In terms of injury team news, as I said, Kobbie Mainoo, there's not been no real update on his fitness at this current moment. We've seen that he kind of went off due to the red card as well, but he did kind of look injured on his way down. Maguire, he's out of the team. Obviously, fullback still not available. Mason Mount, I think he should be fine for this game. So the real only absentee from the last game would potentially be Kobbie Mainoo. Obviously, Euro ain't back yet. But listen, Kobbie Mainoo would be a huge player if he's missing. But there's obviously viable replacements in that team for United. So let's talk about the opposition. As I said, a very good team. They've scored 2 goals from set pieces, 10 from open play. They've got Galeno, very good player. Very good team. In terms of goals per match, they average around 2 goals per match and about 61% possession per game. They expected as well 0.4 goals conceded per match, so they don't really concede many goals. So it's going to be a tough opportunity for United, kind of break them down. They've got Vitor Bruno as obviously their manager, a very good possession-based manager, dominating 61% of the possession. Whereas if you compare that to Manchester United, for example, in our games, 5 goals scored. Our top scorer's got 1 goal. Like, in terms of like possession stats and whatnot, In terms of, goals per game, 0.8. Like, we're creating chances. We expected 10.5 goals, but we're conceding 0.8. And that is probably the biggest issue at United at the moment. I'm trying to find possession, but I can't seem to find it. Our average possession is probably about 40-50% anyway. So it isn't special, but it is going to be very, very tough. I think to beat this Porto side with the way that we're playing. We haven't been able to string a lot of passes together. With Porto, a team who don't concede many goals, I think it's about setting up in a way in which we can really break them down. Bruno Fernandes, I'll talk about that now in the starting team. So let's get into the team. In goal will obviously be, I think it'd be Onana. I think Binder didn't start the last Europa League game, so I don't think he'll start this one. Then Onana will come in goal. Big game from him. I think he could have done way better on that goal against Twente last week. And this is the time for redemption. Remember last season he did cost us going out of Europe. It is really down to Andre Onana. I think Porto create chances. They score goals. It's it'll be a hostile atmosphere in the Stadio Drago. We've really got to kind of use Onana as well, with playing out from the back when necessary. But don't make any silly errors in the first couple of minutes that shifts the momentum. It's all about limiting mistakes ultimately, and that's what can cost us. But yeah, I expect the big game from Onana. Right back has to be Mazraoui. Tough going to be an opponent from him. I think it's Galeno who plays on their left wing. Very, very good winger. Can score goals, cut inside. Kind of literally a Luis Diaz sort of replacement when he left Porto. They got in Galeno, I think, anyway. But a very, very good player. Left back will be Delot. Then Delot probably had his worst game in his United career against Tottenham. He's got to improve. I think if he's going to go into inverted midfield, he's got to be able to track back and defend as well. Then the inverted role only works, obviously, in possession. And you could see Ten Hag just leave him at left back this time to kind of do his job defensively. As I said, Delot knows what it's like to play. He played at Porto. It's going to be a tough game for him as well, because he just doesn't look comfortable at left back. Yes, he's put in like a few good crosses and a few good performances, but I just want to see like a left-footed left back, and whether that is Luke Shaw or Malacia or whoever it is, was only going to be them two for now. But I want to see a left-footed left back, so then we can really have and utilise Delot on the right-hand side or Mazraoui. I wouldn't actually be opposed to swapping them, but yeah, Delot would be at left back. Centre backs Martinez, De Ligt, and we need a clean sheet from them. In our last two games, we've conceded 4 goals. Most of them just being from errors. I think Martinez needs to just be less aggressive in possession. He's got to really use him in the build-up. And De Ligt, big game for him. Going into midfield now, I expect Ugarte to play. And I think it'd be Ugarte and Casemiro. I think if Mainoo's fit, he could come in. But I would personally as well go with Ugarte and Casemiro. I think it's a European game where Casemiro has excelled. I know he's old now, but I think he can still offer his ability. And I think we need that defensive cover. I think Ugarte's looked a bit shaky. Maybe having Casemiro next to him will give him that bit of guidance and support and kind of communication that he probably needs. Number 10, I think Bruno will start. Now, as I've said in the last 2 games, I would start Xerxes in the 10. But Bruno will obviously start. He's his captain. He missed the next game against Villa, so we'll see something else there. But Bruno will start, and he just can't have a crap game. Otherwise, well, he missed the next games anyway, but just get him out, please. Like, a poor game from Bruno Fernandes massively cost us because he's one of our key players in terms of output. That number 10 is one of the biggest positions, creativity. Bringing Bruno in will massively help us, but I think we need to be very, very careful with the way that we play. I think if he does those silly long balls again, yes, they do work and they've worked previously, but you just got to know when to time it right. And if you're going to play a long ball, make sure it's accurate. Don't just hoof it long and then the team shape's gone. I think Bruno Fernandes sometimes does press too high with kind of Xerxes. And that leaves that gap open. So he's got to be a midfield player in this game. In a European game, teams will exploit us, and that is our biggest weakness. Now, the front three, I don't think Garnacho was fairly good against Tottenham, but Neither was Rashford, to be fair. For me, what I would do, I'd put Rashford, I'd put Garnacho on the left, and I'd put Ahmad on the right. I'd bench Rashford and bring him on in maybe the 60th minute, depending on how the game is going. And then up front, I'll start Rasmus Højlund. I think Højlund's ability is going to be needed in a game like this. His quality, his hold-up play. Then also we've got Xerxes to come on the bench. I would like to see Xerxes and Højlund start a game together, because they probably will be doing that next week against Villa anyway. So maybe get a couple, maybe the last half an hour in them, and maybe take Bruno off. But Ten Hag seems like a reluctance to do that. But that's my predicted team. Last two things, key players to look out for. I've gone two from Porto. Diogo Costa, very, very good keeper. Someone that United was linked to before we got Onana. And Galeno, very, very good winger, can score goals. United in this game, Bruno Fernandes, and just for all the reasons I sort of explained, we need to watch him and see if he can really offer a threat for us. And Ahmad, I think he deserved to start the last game, deserves to start this game and really have an impact. But that has been the preview. Let me know your thoughts, predictions in the comments. I'm going to go with... I want United to win so badly, so I'm going to predict a win. I'm going to go with 2-1 Manchester United. Let me know your thoughts, opinions in the comment section below. This has been another preview for United against FC or Porto against Man United. It's going to be a very, very tough game. Porto are a top side. They struggle to concede goals, and they can definitely score goals. So let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Hope you did enjoy. Peace.